Hello, everyone, and a big warm welcome to Mindfulness with Kelly. If you're new, I'm thrilled to have you part of my channel. And if you're a regular, a big warm welcome back. So today we're going to talk about egoic reactions, and then we're going to do a reflections meditation, which will last for around 10 minutes or so. What is the ego? I guess it's a person's sense of self-esteem, or it's self-importance. And how's it formed? So it's a man-made self, which can stem back to as early as being created, around 3 years old or thereabouts. And it's a delusionary self formed in very early childhood. And it can come in many forms, superego, ego, and it's modified by direct influence of the external world, or it's a result of external factors through the world of form. And an example is if you think you're beautiful, very at a very early age, if you think you're beautiful, you might create a self that needs to protect that beauty. And what I mean by that, if people have told you you're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful, and you identify and you latch on to being beautiful, then what naturally happens is when we see people, or the limitations of having an ego based on beauty, is that you can compare yourself to other more beautiful people. And it's a sense of craving to a lot of degree. And it's a sense of craving. Why do I say craving? Because it's you identify yourself as beautiful. So any other more beautiful person that comes into your life, there'll be kind of a comparison or a competition. And the way the ego is kind of defined, it puts up barriers and limits your view into reality. So if you see someone more beautiful, you might feel even threatened by them. Another example is if you define your ego or your man-made self, your alter ego, as intelligent. And again, if you know that you're intelligent and your ego is built on that man-made self, it means that you could be threatened by more intelligent people. And so we go through our life being defined by this core belief that you are the most intelligent person alive. And that reality is not right or wrong. However, we're always threatened with people that potentially are more intelligent than ourselves. And so the ego creates a lot of suffering. And the reason why is because it's that the constant barriers that limit our view or our beliefs or our narrative we tell ourselves in order to, I guess, not see the reality. But I think when you have limited views that you're so intelligent, you're unable to see beauty. You're unable to see different points of view, and that can be quite limiting. So the ego does identify with the belief system of yourself, and in some ways it can be completely unconscious. It can be pre-conscious, but at the basic level it can be unconscious. And being egotistical is when you don't have the competence and experience to back up that level of confidence. And again, it's very limiting. You only see the world in one particular way. And the ego grows out of desires and craving in the world of form. And when I say form, I say, materialism, whether it be success, whether it be, it's craved out of comparison. And the only way that we can dissolve craving at its very, very base level is becoming really present and conscious in the present moment. And this can really, really start to dissolve and allow your attachment to your ego just start to loosen in some way. And there's a few ways we can do this. So we can listen to others. And what I mean by listen is deeply listen and not think that we've got something to say before the other person finishes. So really understanding and listening to our friends and our colleagues. The second way is developing empathy. So truly understanding how someone else could feel in any given situation. And that's a level of selflessness. Then we can suspend judgment. Naturally, without even being conscious, quite unconscious, we generally have, we like that, we don't like that, we love that, we don't like that. And it's that constant pull of like and not like that kind of rules our world. So not having any judgment or allowing things to arise in the moment as they are, opposed to our preconceived ideas of what they should be. And another way you could do it is don't let others know your viewpoint until you're asked. So sometimes be the last to speak could allow everyone else to feel more comfortable and less judged by you. And that's another way. And I think through life, we venture within the two worlds, the one world of form and the ego, and we can venture into another world, which is of the transcendental. And that can be through the transcendental. I mean that being in contact with the power of now and the power of consciousness and presence. And you can do that through religion. You could do that through meditating. You can do that through opening your mind to different states of consciousness. You could do that through mindful walking. And any of those worlds in the kind of transcendental or the sacred can allow the ego to be seen for what it actually is, which is a man-made self. And over time, only consciousness can release that suffering of the ego, because then we don't hold it so tightly. We just feel that there is a loosening, and that's when really suffering can I guess dissipate. And the egoic reactions, which I was speaking about at the beginning, is a reaction which protects your ideals or protects your belief system towards something. And I bring it back to intelligence. So you've got this constant holding to a belief system that you think you're more intelligent than anyone else. And that could be right or it could be wrong, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it limits you, because you'll never be able to see someone else's viewpoint, because you always think that you're right. And once you kind of release that tension around protecting the ego, then life becomes incredibly beautiful, and it opens up to worlds that you've never seen before. And that can be exciting. Now we're going to do a reflection meditation. And we're going to reflect on the ego. We're going to reflect on what I've just spoken about. It'll last for around 10 minutes. And if you've never done this before, it's completely guided, so it will be led by me. So when you're ready, you can either lay flat on the ground, you can sit on a cushion, or you can sit on a chair, the sofa. The only thing I really recommend is having your back completely straight. So your torso straight with your head nicely poised on the top of your torso. So when you're ready, just close your eyes. So just start to notice the weight of your body on the cushion or the chair. And this step of the meditation is really stepping into the feeling of your body. And in Buddhist terms, we call that the Vedana, the general feeling without the narrative. So as you feel the weight of your body melting into the floor, just start to notice the clothes on your skin. And just start to notice the temperature of the room. And just start to notice the sounds inside and outside the room. And just see if you can connect to your breath. Because your body breathes naturally. It's not forced. It has its own natural rate and rhythm. And just notice the flavor of your mind. Just notice with open curiosity, is your mind and your thoughts, are they racing? Are they slow? And just see if you can allow your thoughts to be as they are, whilst you connect and anchor your concentration with your breath. And as you start to notice the whole of your body, we'll just do a body scan. Just notice your face and your brow. And just see if you can soften your brow, your jaw, your eyelids. Just see if you can soften your face. And just start to notice your neck and your throat. And see if you can smooth out any creases. And as you notice your shoulders, see if they can melt or drop away from your ears a little bit further. And just start to notice your chest and your heart center. We normally say your heart center is in the middle of your chest. And just notice if there's any restrictions. Just slowly soften your belly further. And it may help to imagine the whole of your pelvic floor just melting into the floor. So becoming even more relaxed. And just notice your thighs. Are they clenching or are they loose? And just notice your feet, the temperature. Can you feel any tingling? Now just notice your hands and the back of your hands. Notice if there's any warm or nice sensations around your hands. There can be quite pleasant sensations, just your hands resting on the tops of your thighs. And there could be pleasure with just having your eyes closed if you've been looking at a computer screen all day. So we're just connecting to the whole of the body. Now just start to expand your awareness to include the whole of the body and not any particular parts. And now start to notice your heart center and where your breath breathes in and around your heart or the center of your chest. And just notice any restrictions. Now bring to mind your ego or your man-made self. And once you have this idea of what your ego is, just notice if there's any restrictions or notice if there's any barriers that have come up thinking about this man-made self. And just be open and curious to why this self has been formed. And see if you can feel it and not think about it. This is a feeling exercise. Just see what the ego feels like. So if you identify yourself as intelligent, just notice, or whatever it is, just notice what arises, whether it's thoughts or restrictions around your heart. Just be open and curious to what arises. Because through this we can explore and break down how this has been formed and why this is important. It's only through conscious awareness that we can investigate as a curious scientist looking for some strange phenomenon. Because being able to view it from this point, we can become the observer. So just give yourself a couple more moments to bring to mind your ego or something that you identify as your personality. And now just start to let it go. And just connect back to your heart center. with warmth. And just see if you can be completely open. And this can't be forced, it's just observing. I sometimes like to think my heart is the ocean, because no matter what arises, I'll always have room for it. So now slowly we'll let go of the practice and expand your awareness to the whole of your body once again. And just connect back to your breathing. And just slowly connect back to the weight of your body grounding through the floor. And just be aware of your thoughts coming and going. Notice any smells within the room. And notice the sounds all around you. And just notice the rise and the fall of your belly. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And I'd just like to say, really congratulate yourself for making the effort, because all these small little steps will have a real profound impact on your life. And when we look at our ego and we're able to observe it the same as we're able to observe a tree growing or a flower slowly blossoming, that's when we can be really curious and understand how things arise within our life and why we get attached to a separate self or a man-made self. And that's when it becomes really exciting to be able to sit as an observer and not take life too seriously and not take ourselves too seriously. And it's almost going back into a child state and exploring this new phenomenon for the first time. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon.